Hello?
Hello?
Why, yes. This is the Pickle God.
Oh.
How's it going, guys? So, Erika and I are again going to forego our talking session that we usually have at the beginning, just so we can get right into the good stuff. I'm here to spread to you guys the good word, the gospel, the truth, the prophecy. That's right, I'm here to talk to you about pickling. What exactly is pickling? Well, pickling is the process of preserving or extending the shelf life of a food by either fermentation in a brine or immersion in vinegar. This process changes a bunch of things like the color, taste, and texture of whatever we decide to pickle. Our classic pickle cucumbers have been around for thousands of years, and they are generally what we refer to as pickles, but the truth is that they aren't the only things that we can pickle. Pickling is actually the process of making foods as such, and not just the delicious snack. So you're probably wondering, why should you pickle? Well, if any of you guys have seen Salt, Acid, Fat, and Heat, they talk about how important acidity is in making food. This is because acid is what makes our taste buds water the most. During the pickling process, there is a noticeable rise in acidity in the food. And as a hardcore fiend of acidity, I can definitely confirm that this is what draws me to it, other than the process of preserving, of course. So in addition to these tasty facts, pickling is pretty easy. It's customizable, it can extend the shelf life of your produce, it adds a wide array of flavor and creative options to your cooking, and it's pretty giftable as well. Easy packageable, I would recommend it. But without further ado, let's get to business. Let's get started with some pickled cherry tomatoes. I got these cherry tomatoes from the Claremont Farmers Market. Great place. Okay, so we're gonna start by adding some water, some apple cider vinegar, and about a teaspoon each of salt and sugar. We're gonna stir it up. We'll bring it to a boil, and that'll be our brine. Pretty simple, right? These mason jars that we're using are about a pint, so that's 2 cups. What I like to do is I like to layer the contents of the jar. So we're gonna start off with a little bit of our grape tomatoes, or cherry tomatoes. Then we're gonna throw in a few thyme sprigs, a couple of cloves of garlic, crushed by the way. Probably a bay leaf. We're gonna layer some more tomatoes, followed by more of our aromatics and herbs. We're gonna repeat the process until we get all the way up to the top. We're going to add our black peppercorns. And then we'll carefully fill up our mason jars with our brine. And there it is. Isn't that gorgeous? So the cool thing about this is that you can really do whatever you'd like with the flavor. You can add more pepper, more garlic, more thyme, less garlic, less thyme, whatever you like.
Next is apple cider kombucha red onions. For the brine, we're going to use 1 cup of kombucha. This is actually apple cider kombucha made by our friends Amy and Colleen at Booch and Rue, who actually used the apple cider recipe from one of our previous videos and turned it into kombucha. 1/2 cup of water, 1/2 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of sugar. In the jar, we're going to add those chopped red onions, thyme. Yeah, let's throw some bay leaves in there because why not? And black peppercorn.
Gonna be cool because give it a little while, say like an hour, it's gonna like become that super magenta that we're used to when we see pickled onions. So we're gonna have to let it sit for a while, but it's gonna get yummy. Alright, so this one's gonna be pretty tight. We're gonna make some spiced pickled oranges. So first things first, we're gonna peel and slice these bad boys, save the peel by the way, and we're going to try to get rid of as much of the white stuff that we possibly can off of the orange. That stuff's a little bitter. For the brine, we're going to use some white wine vinegar, a cup of water, and a pretty healthy helping of sugar. That doesn't really make any sense, but a good amount of sugar. This is going to serve to balance out the flavors once we start adding all of our cool aromatics. Just like the others, we're going to bring this bad boy to a boil. Heading on over to the mason jars, we're going to add some oranges, a couple of cinnamon sticks. These are actually Indonesian cinnamon sticks. Never tried these before, but they smell incredible. Then we're going to add some star anise and some cloves. This is actually quite a bit of cloves, so I would be careful about adding it if you aren't too into the spice. We're going to add some of our leftover orange peel. Stack up some more oranges. And I thought I'd try this because this follows a lot like my apple cider recipe, which you guys should go and see. So I went ahead and added a little bit of lemon juice to brighten up the flavor. Stack the last of the spices and then pour over your brine. This one is absolutely gorgeous. It's so pretty to look at and it's great. I would definitely try this over some ice cream, over desserts of all kinds, really. It's a pretty interesting add-on, but I would recommend it. I feel like it gave birth to a beautiful orange sun.
Fun fact, you can actually pickle pears. We're gonna make rosemary kombucha pickled pears. For the brine, you'll need 1 cup of kombucha. We're just using pear rosemary kombucha from our friends at Buchenroux. Half a cup of white wine vinegar, half a cup of water, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of sugar. In the jar, we'll add some pears, rosemary, and basil. If you're feeling adventurous, add black peppercorn and star anise. Sean says star anise. I say star anise. How do you pronounce this word?
This one's going to be pretty tight. This one is going to be Korean-inspired pickled daikon. So what makes this so special is that we're actually going to be using a solution that includes Korean soy sauce and rice vinegar. So before we make the brine this time, we're actually going to cut up our veggies. So we're going to get a nice, beautiful piece of daikon fresh from the market. And then we're going to chop it up and set it aside, salt it, and let it rest for about 30 minutes. Reason being because this is going to extract a lot of extra moisture that doesn't need to be there. In addition to the daikon, we're actually going to add some chopped up red bell peppers. You can also add Thai chili peppers or jalapenos, depending on how spicy you want this to be. So for our brine, we're going to add a cup of water and a cup of soy sauce and about a tablespoon of sugar. Bring it to a boil just like the rest, after which we can get a hold of our daikon. Using our famous layering method, we're going to add our daikon, we're going to add some red bell peppers, some crushed garlic, and some lemon peel just to give it a little bit of a citrusy kick. Keep that idea going, and then once we're done, right at the top, we're going to add our soy sauce vinegar brine. This is easily my favorite thing to pickle. I would 100% recommend this as a gift. It's also fantastic on soups, curries, salads, ramen, you name it.
Now that we've pickled multiple items, you can see that you can literally pickle anything, and it is extremely doable.
As long as you have vinegar, water, and a pickling brine solution, you can essentially use whatever you have in your shelf and you can pickle it. You'd be good. Yeah.
Yum. Let us know in the comments below what you're gonna pickle, how it turned out. We'd love to hear from you all, and we greatly appreciate your support.
Until next time, I'm Sean.
And I'm Erika.
Peace.